Hi, I'm Justin Barrett. I'm president of Blueprint 1543. I'm a former university professor and a psychological scientist, and I'm back with another set of comments on the Olympics. In my last episode, I suggested that the Olympics have the ability to inspire us to, yes, get us off the couch and exercise, but perhaps more importantly, to find those skills, talents, and passions that we have and cultivate them to contribute to God's aims in this world of ours. I did not suggest that the Olympics should encourage us to go out and become an Olympian, to encourage our children or grandchildren to become elite athletes, or to start supporting youth sports. There's a reason I didn't go there, or really several reasons. I once had a friend who was a colleague at an institution I was working at who had been an Olympian. He was a national record holder in his track and field event, and even a regional record holder. He was an amazing athlete. But when I met him, he was in his early 30s and had what the doctors called the knees of a 50-year-old. What had happened to him is when he was a young adolescent, I believe he was around 12 years old, 13, he got recruited because of his athletic skills into a training program in his country of origin and basically was forced to train in his sport for about 8 hours a day, every day. He was discouraged from studying because it kept him away from his sports. And I hasten to add, he was not part of a totalitarian country or regime. He was a citizen of a democratic country, not the United States, somewhere else in the world. But I raise this story because of how different countries can seem to place so much emphasis on elite sports that they make huge sacrifices, not just nationally, but for the individual lives of these athletes, who sometimes then are broken down has-beens by the time they're in their 30s, unless they have done some special things to avoid that fate. That's a sobering realization and should lead us to have, I think, more somber reflections on the nature of the Olympics and elite athletics as a whole. Research suggests that it's already the case that a large proportion of teen boys and girls regard sports as the primary spark in their life. A spark is a skill, an interest, or a talent that a person is passionate about. It gives a child or adolescent purpose and motivation, according to the positive youth development literature. When some 25% of girls and over a third of boys in the United States say that a sport of some sort is their spark, we don't need to put a whole lot of new effort into encouraging sports, especially because many of the claims about the benefits of participation in sports are wildly overstated. We often hear that sports help teach young people character strengths and virtues such as perseverance, self-control, courage, leadership, and teamwork. But sociological and psychological research on these topics often fail to find any reliable connections between sports participation and these sorts of strengths, particularly outside of the sports themselves. A teen might learn teamwork on the football team, and that is likely to only be applicable to, well, the football team. I know this is a startling claim and might sound unduly grumpy, but it's the truth. In the run-up to the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, I attended a lecture series at Oxford University on the theology of sports. Several of the lecturers referenced this failure to find meaningful effect sizes, we say, connecting sports and character strengths. My sense of the literature today is that even when such effects are found, they primarily concern the so-called minor sports, like cross-country running or rowing, that generally attract very few spectators. And even still, it isn't clear that playing volleyball, which I love, by the way, does anything more for your character than playing chess or performing in a choir. In short, we have basically no reason to think that participating in sports are especially good at developing character strengths and virtues in young people. So why do we do them? Well, of course, there are some gains in coordination, physical strength, and endurance. Those are good things that sports can do for us when we're participating in them, not just watching them. Additionally, historically, sporting competitions probably did serve important social functions. In some historical contexts, they created the opportunity to reduce bloodshed by letting the heroes of opposing armies to meet in combat and letting that, the heroes fighting, determine whether a full-scale combat was actually needed. The famous biblical account of David and Goliath records just such an event. The Philistines presented their champion, Goliath, and the opportunity for the Israelites to send out their champion to fight him in order to avoid a full-scale battle. Things didn't turn out as they hoped. Competitions could also provide a focus for military training and bragging rights for generals that they had the most able soldiers. Most ancient sports were, after all, exercises that mimicked skills needed on the battlefield, such as being able to wrestle, throw a spear or javelin, or run. Some of this military ancestry is still evident in today's Olympics. Many of the sports are martial arts, including fencing, shooting, archery, boxing, taekwondo, judo. These are all part of the competition. But the Olympics don't serve to tell opposing nations, hey, don't mess with us. We have amazing soldiers. At least not anymore. So what function do they serve? Well, some people would say that they generate national pride. You've probably heard that. But do they in any widespread way? Out of the some 200 nations that were Olympic eligible, less than half won any medals at all in the 2024 Olympics. The truth is, only one single factor does about half of the work in predicting which countries are likely to win the most medals. And that factor is how large their national economies are. I did some statistical analyses on the 2024 games myself. So it's actually rare for the Olympics to help pump up the national pride of small, poor countries. It may happen occasionally, but it can't be regarded as a good strategy for rallying patriotism. The Olympics and other big-time sports do generate pride for those who are especially good at them. But is that healthy pride? Pride, after all, has long been considered a deadly sin in the Christian tradition. As the Apostle Paul put it, "But God forbid that I should boast, except in the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, by whom the world has been crucified to me, and I to the world." In Galatians 6:14. So is our pride in our sports prowess really a virtue? Shouldn't we, the athletes, instead be grateful for the gift of being able to perform so well and the privilege to do so? Shouldn't we, the spectators, simply enjoy the entertainment value of our favorite sports teams performing? What gives us any justifiable pride in their achievements? Let me be clear that I think there's a good time and a place for sports in our world. I've enjoyed them throughout my life and with my friends and my children. But we need to keep them in their proper place. The spectacular performances of Olympic and professional athletes, the consequences of so much investment of time and resources, should prompt us to consider whether we really are judiciously using time and resources in this way. Are we investing in skills and activities that really matter, or in entertainment that keeps us on the sidelines? Or worse, in sources of unhealthy pride instead of genuine accomplishments that make the world a better place? Those are my reflections on the Olympics. Thanks for joining me. As always, like, subscribe, and leave comments. I do try to respond to comments if they seem to be on topic and something that I can add value to. Until next time, I'm Justin Barrett. Take care.